Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And where are we off to today?
Today we are in Moab and we're doing another Jeep trail. We're doing the 7-mile rim trail. This is a frequently visited trail and very popular for Easter Jeep safari.
And we're in the process of airing down and we'll be underway here shortly. So it's looking like it'll be a great day.
Now, most of this trail is considered moderate, but there are small sections that are considered difficult. And we've been building up our confidence on some of the more difficult aspects of off-road travel, so we'll see how we'll do. It's a chilly morning here on the trail, and we have a lot of high clouds, so it's going to take a little while for things to warm up. Conditions look pretty good though. The road coming into the trailhead was dry, and we're at 4,600 feet or so, and I don't think we have a lot of elevation gain here. There is some light snow at the higher elevations. We saw some yesterday when we went out on the Dome Plateau overlook, but I don't think it'll be too bad over here. There are some nice views of the La Salle Mountains with snow on them, and hopefully we'll be able to capture some of that.
And we're off. The first part of this trail leads to a series of switchbacks, and the switchbacks are fairly challenging and a good gatekeeper for this trail.
As you're doing the trail, you'll see some small signs marked 7R that indicate your route as you're going on the 7-mile rim trail.
First little section gets you nice and prepared. Some kind of nice deep potholes just to shake you up a little bit.
And even before that, it's a good idea to air down after the highway because it's very pothole coming out to the trailhead.
Yes. That lovely gravel road that you think you're on is not going to stay gravel very long. So if I was doing this again, I'd air down right at the highway instead of driving up to the trailhead. And as I said, this gets you limbered up for this right away with some nice deep potholes. It's nice little off-camber section, just to wake you up.
Mostly dirt, and with the runoff and rain and people driving on it, it's gotten very rutted and potholed.
And just as you start off, there's a camp site right on the left-hand side. So if you wanted to come out and camp right the trailhead, you could.
Got a nice V-notch to run up.
And then the road goes into...
Careful on the tires.
A nice little uphill with lots of rocks. It's a little shelf road, and it just basically just throws you right into it, sort of like yesterday with the what was it called? Owl Wash or Owl Draw
Upland Trail.
Upland Trail.
Dome Plateau.
Throws you right into the trail.
Just need to take your time and spot your rocks. Stay to the drivers because there's a washout.
And I was watching the trail recon video last night on this route, and one of the things he said was that it's a fairly slow route. And if it's like this a lot, then it is going to be a slow route today, which is just fine.
It's about 13 miles, but they say it's planned for about a 4-hour trip. And there's lots of great views, so you'll want to stop along the way and enjoy it.
Yeah. So I started off in 4 high, and at the first hairpin, I've switched into 4 low, because really this, getting up this first section is really a rock crawl. And I mean kind of small boulder rock crawl. So it gives me a little more control over the... And you probably want to also disconnect your sway bar if you have that ability, It'll make the bouncing up the trip a little easier.
Oh. I hope that was just a spin of a rock under the tire.
Oh, I think I caught a boulder, but I think I just took it on the step. Yeah. So not only does this have a series of rocks that you have to negotiate, and again, for those of you might not be watched us before, we are on 35-inch tires. They're KO2s, so they're a little smaller than real 35s. With a 2-inch lift, driving a Jeep Rubicon X. And what you'll find pretty quick is that you're already into a series of rock ledges. Small steps that we're going up. They're about 8 inches to 10 inches in height, with some little narrow bits.
More driver.
And I've already managed to bang down on one of the boulders that
on your rock.
On my rock guard. Yeah, on my rock slider that I didn't see somehow. I would already say this trail is not for your beginner. And if you haven't done a few of the more straightforward trails in Moab yet, I would not pick this as one of your first trails. It really throws you right into the crawling up the rocks right away. We're just coming up onto some slip rock. Slick rock. I often find that driving on the slick rock is a bit on the deceptive side. It looks a lot smoother than it is in reality, and if you're not careful, you can really be bounced around. As you can see here, as I come down these series of little steps, the Jeep is weaving and bobbing every time I hit a little hole or a little bump. My tires are aired down to about 17 psi, which seems to work really well with this vehicle. We're coming up to another series of steps. It's like a little waterfall. Even though we have a overcast day, it is a beautiful trail. And it's really okay that it takes a little bit longer to get up the road.
Off in the distance on the horizon, there's two large rocky outcrops, and you can maybe faintly make out the road going up between them. That's part of our route, and we'll go between those rocks as we continue southwest. This is one of the first serious obstacles. This is about a 3-foot drop, but it's kind of done in 2 or 3 steps. The trick with this is to get your wheels as perpendicular to the ledges as possible so you don't drop one wheel down faster than the other. Shawn is lining up on the right side or passenger side of that ledge so that he can get a good perpendicular angle.
So after Corinne mentioning that you really want to get lined up on this so that you have a more straight down approach, I unfortunately didn't do that. So I'm a bit more on an angle than it would be optimal. Consequently, you're going to see that I end up really coming down on an angle, and that I'm pretty far over onto the driver's side as I come down that last little bit. It turned out not to be an issue, but if it had been slippery or otherwise, it might have been. Once you get up on top of the slick rock, the trail is mostly a series of steps, either up or down, and it can be a little bit tricky to find the trail as well. There looks like there are multiple trails, probably all of them lead more or less to the same place. The set that I took here went up a set of fairly steep steps, and they were the kind of steps where you were doing a lot of get up to the top and then having to make a hard right or a hard left to avoid the rocks that were in front of you, and that's kind of what you're seeing here. And then as we get up a little bit further, you get these slip rock mounds, and these tend to make you quite off camber as you start to go up them, and you can see this one's very steep because you're seeing all sky now pretty much. And that's all I'm seeing too, so I'm kind of going up these a little bit by braille. Although I do find that occasionally I'll hang out the driver's window and watch my front tire, and that's often a good way to kind of find the trail or find out your line on the trail and keep you out of trouble. And here I'm continuing to work my way up that slick rock. And we continue to work our way up the hill.
Ledges getting a little larger sometimes.
Yeah, lots of ledges. It's actually not, now that I'm sort of getting used to it, it's not too bad. Once you get to the top, it's really worth pulling over because the views from here are absolutely spectacular. In fact, there's lots of spots to pull over, and part of the reason this trail takes so long to do is there's just so many interesting places to stop and view the scenery. So we're going to start working our way down a few steps. These are very straightforward. The challenge with these steps is that you really want to stare at the LaSalle Mountains out there, which are absolutely gorgeous, even on a cloudy day.
Passenger side's coming down.
So this is, again, another really, really pretty trail. So we kind of come along a very easy section. I'm just kind of puttering. We don't have very far to go today, so this will be quite easy to get done by the end of the day. Although Corinne and I do like to stop quite a bit when we're driving these trails. Our favorite trails are always those that have lots of interesting things to stop and have a look at. Mines, old buildings, beautiful scenery, interesting rocks. Caves. Those are by far our favorite trails. So we are coming up on one of the more challenging obstacles, not this one. This is an easy one. Nicely sloped all the way down with just a little teeny step. But just around that next corner is a much more challenging piece. And I actually had to get out and have a look at it since the book talks about rolling over. Something I'd really rather not do today. And Corinne's going to be down there and gives me a little bit of help. The trick with this one is getting nicely lined up. Corinne has actually spotted me a little bit. Yeah, do we hear a big crunch? We are heading for Uranium Arch. So that's the trail we've turned on to. Is it part of the 7 mile rim, or have we gone off onto a little offshoot?
I think it goes on an offshoot, and then you return.
Oh, very, very sunny all of a sudden. There's a whole mishmash of little trails up here.
Go down to the bottom, and then there's another sign there.
Right. If you're not paying attention, I think you could really get...
could get lost.
Yeah, you could get turned around here pretty easily.
We're using Trails Off-Road to highlight some of the waypoints of interest. And also on the dashboard, Shawn is using OnX Offroad so that he's got a nice colored line to follow, marking the trail we want to go on. And they're usually named on the screen so he can make sure he's on the right trail.
So we're still on the Arch Trail, which has actually turned into a bit more challenging trail than I was anticipating. Corinne got it to spot me down a step here, mainly because it's kind of a blind down. I know I've mentioned this before in other videos, but Corinne is an excellent spotter. She really understands how the vehicle is going to react under a lot of the conditions that we come across, and she's pretty good at communicating what's going on. If we have a error sometimes is that she and I don't always see the best way to get down, or we just don't always agree on the best way to get down, so, or get up as the case may be. And at that point we have to stop and have a little discussion about it. And if we do that, everything works out fine. If I just ignore her because I decide she's wrong, I usually end up in trouble. That was more straight down than I was anticipating. Well, I scraped up the other side now.
Hold on, I want to see the map.
Yep, it's right in front of us.
This would have been far easier from waypoint 12. It was actually on the trail from that direction. But you got some good experience.
Exactly.
And we're out here for the challenge and technical drive. I think there's a little parking right up there on the left. So we've arrived at Uranium Arch, and it was a bit of a tricky drive coming down from
the direction we came, but we are here. And it's pretty amazing.
Well, we turned out from the main road and came down a couple side trails to come to the uranium arch site. It's named for the region because there was a lot of uranium mining down below the 7-mile rim trail in the canyons. It's quite an impressive arch, quite similar to some of the ones that you'll find in Arches National Park, but this one is just in BLM land territory. And you don't have to deal with the crowds of the national park to come and enjoy this one. This area was prominent for uranium mining, and there's a number of mine excavations that occurred down below the rim of the 7-mile rim trail. The majority of mining happened between the 1950s and the 1980s. The largest customer for the uranium was, of course, the U.S. Defense Department, but also the uranium was used for medical purposes. This gives you a view of my off-road trails guide for 7-mile rim trail. And we came off the trail at waypoint 6 here and did some of these back trails to this point where we're marked on the map. We followed the signs that were laid out by the BLM, and that seemed to be an okay route, some challenges on it with rock ledges. But you can see that my current location is right between waypoints 10 and 13 up there at the top. So it might have been much better for us to stay on the trail and wait till we got to waypoint 12 and then come off there to do the view of the uranium arch. We'll go back the way we came because we want to continue with waypoints 7 through 11. And then instead of coming off the trail at waypoint 12, we'll just keep going to 13.
We're finished with Uranium Arch, and we are going to go back to waypoint 6, where we came off the trail, because we don't want to miss the rest of the trail. And that'll take us a couple minutes.
Ready.
Here we go. Big step. Okay, front wheels are up. Just how bad the scratching will be. Getting the, well, a little bang, not too bad. Well, no problem. It was pretty straightforward. The next one might be more difficult. Can you spot me on the next one as well?
Tight, too tight. Supposed to come up straight, the slope, and then come over the fence. Go straight. 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 And start your turn to driver. I come in?
Yep, come on in.
You brought your rear tires up too fast on that step. So once you had your front tires up, you thought you were clear, but you needed to go slower with the back.
Okay. I didn't crunch anything.
You scraped.
I guess series of just little teeny ones going up here.
Yeah. Gotta kind of navigate.
Well, we're starting to head down a little bit. I don't know whether this is just a short piece down before we go back up again, because in Moab, if you're not going up, you're going down.
So far, we've had the trail all to ourselves.
Yeah, it's been really terrific. I haven't been holding anybody up or having to get around anybody.
As we look to the west, there's a beautiful set of red rock cliffs in the distance. And between us and the rocks, some nice dirt trails and juniper forest. Lots of low trees so you can get great views. You're not stuck amongst really tall trees that block the views out here. It's still chilly this morning, so we're going to look for a spot a little out of the wind and see if we can take a lunch break.
Corinne and I found a spot to have our lunch. It's a little out of the breeze. We're trying some Mountain House lasagna and some American buffalo barbecue mac and cheese. That'll be good. And out in the distance there are two rocks that are named after the Merrimack and the Monitor. They were Civil War ships. Apparently they were Civil War ironclad ships, the first ironclad ships.
So after doing a series of zigzags and ledges up and down, we come to this beautiful viewpoint. This is a south direction, and in the distance there is Highway 191. And then we can scan over here, and that's looking northward. And you can see the steep drop-off cliff here. As you're following along the rim trail, there's some very nice view spots out to the east, and you can get a good view of the La Salle Mountains there, looking southeast.
So we are the first people to do this trail since it snowed. So that should make the trail a little more interesting. But you cannot see where the trail goes nearly so well.
Yeah, it's funny that this area has a lot of snow, so I think you want to go straight and then up there, up the trees, turn right.
I wanna go out and face the cold, but it's a really good time for a monologue. Can't let this pass, I find it hard to breathe. Time is up, the bell has rang, and it's really hard to understand that losing you now is the only choice for me. But someday I rode some cross before, and someday our ocean will find its shore. If you've never been this tired, then you've never been this in love. When you feel there is time for us, then I'll be by the same old final word will leave. Following the weeds, I'd understand I will never be that close to someone again. The further I go, the closer you will feel. Someday our roads have crossed before, and someday our ocean will find its shore. If you've never been this tired, then you've never been this in love. When you feel there is time for us, then I'll be by the same old road. If you've never been this tired, then you've never been this in love. When you feel there is time for us, then I'll be by the same.
Okay, so I'm probably going to try one of the tallest ledges I've ever done in the snow. That should be really interesting. See if we make it. Looks like it's pretty straightforward once I get up the first set. So the first set are the hardest. And Corinne's trying to find a good location for the camera, just in case I crash. She wants to have that on film. Okie dokie. So I currently have the Jeep in 4-wheel drive low. I have the both sets of lockers on, and see if I can make it up this snowy little rise.
That's clear. I think you need to back down and try again. You're going too far, driver. Maybe. Okay, you're at the end. Get a bit of a turn to driver, but you want to come up first. But no. Stay on the straight line. Don't go driver yet. Get up on the flat before you go driver. Need to be more passenger. There's a little ledge that I'm driving you up on, and you stay on the passenger. Straight. Straight. Okay, don't go down too much. Come straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, and then turn once you're up here.
Oh!
You spun on a rock. Wheels have no traction.
Not going to make it.
Hold up and I'll move this rock. Try again.
One more time. It's too slippy.
Yeah.
I'm going to try I'm going to go up the other side. Well, that was a bust. So we're going to go try to come up this side.
Towards me. Gonna come up this boulder that I'm standing in front of. Ready more for passenger. Okay, now driver. Up, straighten up. There you go. Go straight. Okay, slow. Up. Yep. Go straight, and then you'll find the line to go to your left. Right there, if you can, once you get traction.
Alert to driver. Okay, your ledge is right in front of your tire.
So we couldn't get up the bigger of the obstacles with the snow on the top. And we got up the bypass very easily. So it wasn't a real issue at all, but I'm not exactly sure where the road is.
A little bit straight.
Ouch.
I didn't see a rock there.
No, it wasn't a rock, it was the ledge.
And then I think it turns down this side.
Okay.
Whoa, ledge.
Oh, another ledge. Didn't see. Oh. Okay. Now I know why they don't do these in the snow. We're going to come down another ledge. So we have been working our way down, and half the battle has been finding the trail. Never mind driving the trail. The snow really does add an extra dimension to the technical part of driving the trail. There we got Merrimack and Monitor out in the distance there. We kind of continue to work our way down. We're back on dirt again, which really makes it much easier to find the trail.
Well, and no snow.
And no snow. Well, that's what I mean. No snow. Snow was making it difficult. We're having to do a combination of trail finding as well as
Deal with the obstacles.
deal with the obstacles, yeah. We are back driving in the snow again. Although I think we've come down quite a bit, so I'm a little surprised at how much snow there is here. Just lots of little obstacles that would be actually completely no big deal, except in the snow.
And now we're following bicycle paths.
Yeah, our main way to find our way down is using the bicycle path. So there is a pair of bicycles we passed coming up the trail, which I got to give them a lot of credit. That'd be hard work. It wasn't long before we were back down off the snow and onto a sandy trail. This is one of the places we could actually make a little time on the trail. This was a pretty nice little section. To our surprise, as we continued down the trail, we found some more snow. It was drifting a little bit in here, but it was really of no consequence. Just made the trail a little pretty.
You're going to come up to an intersection. You're going to go left, so don't go speeding by it. You're going to turn on your left turn signal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we are going between Merrimack and Monitor. We are at a place called The Squeeze, and we're going to be going through there in a minute. The Squeeze is one of those spots that looks absolutely terrible when you're trying to come through it, and it looks really, really tight in the main picture where Corinne's photographing me. But if you look at Corinne's picture up in the top left corner of the screen, it's really not that bad. I had lots of room on both sides. So it's one of those ones that makes you feel really worried, but really turns out to be not much of a problem. Well, we got a pretty off-camber part, probably about 15 degrees or so.
You got a bigger off-camber coming.
And oh boy,
let's go through the bushes.
More fun coming. We're at the section of the trail that feels like fins and things. Just a lot of down on the slick rock.
Which is actually very grippy.
Yeah. And it's bouncy, just like fins and things.
Can you pause?
And we're heading into another section here that is very off-camber.
Okay, apparently there's a steep downhill after the off-camber. So it says, just follow the black marks.
Okay. I'm just going to put it in 4 low to have more control over the downhill bit. So we got a steep uphill bit, followed by a
off-camber bit.
Some sideways steps just to make things interesting. So we're 24 degrees pointed up, and now we're 20 degrees to the side. Corinne's hanging on for dear life. And now we are going to go down. And we are actually not that bad. 19 degrees down. And now we're 27 degrees down. And we're in a bumpy bit.
Made it.
Made it, yeah. So we reached pretty close to the end of the trail, and there's one obstacle left, and it is this ledge that I'm on. And you'll see down there, I need to get down to the road on the right. So it's very pretty from up here.
Hold on for a second.
Okie dokie. Tell me when you're ready. They have torn this all up to crap. So, okay, I'm on my way down. So it is going to be a lot more difficult than this would normally be.
I'm on my way down.
Shawn has a very steep descent to do here, and it's rocky. It's about a 31-degree slope as he comes down, and he wants to hit with his wheel on a couple of these rocks up here. Start your turn to passenger. Looks good. You're about to hit that rock on your passenger side now.
From inside the Jeep, this is absolutely terrifying.
Come forward straight. Straight. Okay, now a little to the passenger.
Sorry, your turn to passenger.
There's a rock on the bottom. I'm trying to put my passenger tire on. If I miss that, this is going to be a lot worse.
Hit that rock on your passenger side now. Forward straight. Straight. Okay, now go to the passenger.
as hard as it looked.
So that was as hard as it looked.
Okay.
And it was good to have a spotter. And I didn't take any body damage. I just scraped the rock sliders, which have turned out, putting those on has turned out to be really good because we have banged down on those a few times today. And then even when you're down that one, you've still got a couple more to come down. You want to go out and look at this one?
There's the bypass if you want to go that way.
Well, we thought we were finished. As it turns out, there's another little obstacle in order to get off the trail, and or at least off the main part of the trail. And I decided to take it instead of taking the bypass.
Higher? Slow up here. Climb. Rear tires coming up. To driver's side. Okay, hold on. Up a little bit and come over my way. Guess you'll make it. Okay, I stayed at the driver's side. It's going to be lumpy, but 15 too tall. Turn a little bit passenger. Okay, straight. You're good.
So we're down, getting down onto the flat a little bit, and look at those rocks dead ahead of us there. Those are really, really cool.
Okay, there's a road that goes to the right, and then around and down on the side.
No, we're not on the ocean. We're just in some whoops. And enough of this, and you will be seasick.
Other people sometimes call them milkshakes.
Yeah, they're also referred to as a milkshake run. Okay, we are down onto a road that's described as easy. Having a look at it right away.
I don't think it's too easy.
I don't think it's too easy. As Corinne said, this is marked as a green trail, but it is still a little more difficult than I would have described for a green trail. Okay, we've come off the steps and now we are on a sand trail with some slick rock stuck in just for a good measure. So as we've gotten further down, I think it's called the 7 Mile Rim Trail, but this is also has a second name.
Buttes and Towers.
Buttes and Towers.
Towers.
Buttes and Towers. It has gotten quite a bit easier. Although the running in it does make it a little bit more challenging than it might otherwise be.
You just have to go slow.
Yeah, Corinne's got a good point. It just have to go slow.
Watch for rocks, even though you're driving through sands.
Yeah, there are some pretty big boulders just sitting on the side or halfway into the trail. I don't know why, but there are. And you do have to watch those because they will take out your differential.
Okay, watching this section.
So we have to open a fence by the looks of things in a very wet, muddy area. Oh. And from here you drive down through a muddy creek bed. It's a pretty straightforward drive. It's just a little slippery and icy in places in the wintertime here. And there are a few small boulders you have to kind of get around or over. After we got through the gate, we continued to follow kind of a sandy wash downwards. So we are in the last little bit, and although it is a 2-lane semi-maintained road, it is bumpy as all get out. Lots of little rock gardens on it. But we are not far away from the highway, as it turns out now. I can actually see it easily from where we are. See the highway, that is. Well, Corinne, what did you think of the trail?
It was a lot of thinking, and
It was.
I had heard that it was obstacles with breaks in between, but it seemed like we were going obstacle to obstacle.
Yeah, certainly until we got down into the areas that look like fins and things. It was just one obstacle after another. And the snow on the top made it a little more complicated. All the trails we've been on so far, somebody's actually been there before us, and it was the first time that we got there before anybody else. So the snow did complicate things. It did make one obstacle not possible for us. If we'd had to insist on getting up there, we'd have had to winch ourselves up. But as it turns out, there was an easy bypass. So I know I've enjoyed the trail. It was a good trail in terms of technically challenging and that sort of thing, but not impossible. But it did require a lot of concentration.
I enjoyed the first half of the trail before lunch. Well, I guess that was more a third. We'd done about a third by the time we stopped for lunch. It didn't require quite as much technique. You know, we had to plan some lines, but not so bad. But after lunch, we had more route finding over the snow and a few more technical spots.
Yeah, there were more. Corinne had to get out more often to help guide me down, and she was a great spotter, but she had to do more of that. Now, all that said, the trail is absolutely beautiful. There's almost nowhere that you can look.
The scenery
on the trail is absolutely beautiful. I think they knew what I meant. And it was gorgeous, and there's really no end of it. It's the whole trail is really, really pretty.
I think the last part through the deep sand wash was interesting for doing the maneuvering back and forth, but once we got to the gate, it was pretty boring.
Yeah, once we went through that last gate, after that, it really was pretty boring. And the road out was just rocky and bumpy. Well, folks, we sure hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, you can hit the subscribe button down below, and you can also hit a notification bell so you know when new videos are posted.
And as always, we love hearing from you, so don't hesitate to leave us a comment, an idea, a thought, correct something we've said in the video because we don't get everything right. And as always, if you just want to say hello, do that. And until next time, bye for now.
Bye for now.